result today, and where do we start? Do we start with the penalty decision? What are you saying, David?
I mean, to me, it was when I saw it, I was like, clear, obvious penalty, done. That's it. I thought it was Stonewall. I've seen the replays, and it looks even worse to me. Like when Souček goes down, he almost looks at his hand and like opens it up and then moves it towards the ball. And I'm just thinking, how that's not been given, I don't know. We've had that decision. We've had the one against Spurs as well, which people forget, and there's another one as well, which is really bad. We've had three really poor, like very, very poor decisions this year. And I mean, it comes in ebbs and flows. I'm sure we'll get our benefit. Like we got our benefit against West Ham earlier on in the season as well. So, it comes in ebbs and flows, but it's just annoying that, again, when things aren't quite clicking, you need that just a little bit of luck to go your way. It's not quite going our way right now. Overall, the performance was actually quite good, I felt like, for most of the game. The players, again, if you ignore the not the winter window, if you ignore the summer window, which was done by Todd, I think everyone can see where the mistakes were made. Look at the players we've already signed. They all fit a system and they're all playing quite well. And you can see what we're trying to do. So I'm actually not too fussed about things not clicking right now, but I can see where the team is going. So I'm not too annoyed. It's just the thing I'm most annoyed about is not scoring goals, but that's been a thing anyway. So whatever. And just poor decisions. And also Graham Potter needs to improve his substitutions, because I felt like before he was making substitutions too late. Today I felt like he made them too early. I felt like he made the wrong ones. Like Kukurea had to come off, which was the right decision, but he didn't have to bring off Mudryk, because I would have liked to have seen Mudryk and Chilwell play with each other and see how that would have worked. But that's me nitpicking. But
I get that. I get that. How about yourself, Matt? Because I know only a few weeks ago you called out Graham Potter and you said that he needs to be sacked, he needs to go, he needs to move on. Like, how are you feeling now, kind of 2 games in after all these signings were made? Are you still looking at today as the problem is the manager?
You could bring 10 more players, and for me, it'd still be the manager. Graham Potter, I wouldn't sack him tomorrow, but I would sack him eventually. I don't think he's the man to get us the Premier League. He doesn't have any authorities in him. There's no discipline, there's no control. And these changes, what he's doing, just basic stuff like the substitutions. As David said, Cucurella comes off. It's fine by me, whatever. But you don't bring on, Mason Mount, and Ziyech, and the players who have not got us goals the last 2 seasons. That's the reason we bought these players, because of them. But you don't bring them on to then score an important goal. So for me, if you talk about the manager, it's selection. But then if you talk about the players, David said the window we had. Take away that summer window. Shocking window. Shocking. Cucurella came on today. Wasn't his best game. I've wanted Cucurella from the start. I think he was fantastic at Brighton. But coming in the squad, he's not fitting in at all. But when you've got fans at the bridge booing him when he gets subbed off for Chilwell and then clapping Chilwell, that's when I can't have that. I can't have these double standards at this club, Terry. That's why I keep saying, when you've got someone, and I'm going to say, doesn't have the English flag next to them, they get yelled at, they get abused, they get booed. So you guys got to stand up at the bridge, and it's shambolic. Sorry, that London Stadium, sorry, but the away fans got to stand up because that was shambolic, booing off Cucurella today. Embarrassing, but they'll clap for Mason Mount after he's had 3 horrible seasons. And for me, that's just embarrassing. But you come down to what we've had in some positives with that. That 25 minutes was the best football I've seen in Chelsea all season. I was, I saw Twitter going off, everyone was crazy. Oh my God, Chelsea fans, blah, blah, blah. And then just like that, they score a goal and we're back to Chelsea. It's been the same fucking thing since fucking Thomas Tuchel, since Lampard. We'll go up and we'll just go back down because there's no intensity, there's no leadership, there's no urgency, there's no discipline. No one wants to win. Even these new players, there's no one there to kind of, come on, lift the spirits up and get us going again. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's leadership. Is it I know now you're getting some mental coach to come in and help him, mentality coach. I don't know what needs to be done to lift these players' spirits up. I don't know, because our heads go down after we go down 1-0. So, I don't know, the first 20 minutes was fantastic, but then after that, shocking. Reece James should take all that blame for that. Reece James, man, I don't do this bias shit, Reece James, wake the fuck up, man, because he fell asleep. That last goal was not marking his man, and he fell asleep, and it was shocking, what he did. But we move on. This is how we criticize our players. We understand what they made as a mistake, and we try to improve it. But we know what Reece James is capable of. The guy's one of the best players at this club. We know what he's capable of. I know he can improve from that mistake. It was a stupid mistake from him. He should be marking one of his players. But people obviously want to attack Cucurella for it. But I'll say James should have stood up. But other than that, Terry, I want to say just the attack we had without Mason Mount was fantastic for the first 25 minutes. And it shows to me Mason Mount is the problem for this football club. Just it's stock standard football club. The guy comes on, 300k. He wants to be valued. He wants to be the top earner at this club. But then he makes fucking shocking passes. And then at full time he goes and he smiles and he laughs and he carries on. I'm sorry, but we don't need him. And today showed we do not need him to win games. Him on or off does not make a difference. The attack and the transition that were linked up without him was immaculate. Where I saw Enzo and then links up with Felix, and Felix is a fucking baller, man. That guy's a baller. He did his job. He goes home with his head up because he did his job. But Mount in this team doesn't need to be needed because he came on and he ruined it. Ruined the attack. Maybe one good pass to Chilwell. Other than that, ruined the attack. So this game gave me one thing that we don't need Mount in this team. I've been saying that for 2 years, and today I think I should tell every Chelsea fan that we don't need Mount at this club.
I understand that. I know you're not a fan of Mount. But join here. But how do I pronounce your name, my friend?
This is Dag.
Dang. What did you make of today? Obviously, there's the controversy around the penalty decision. There were some poor performances from certain Chelsea players, but a very good opening sort of 25, 30 minutes. What did you make of it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said in the super chat. I wasn't really tripping. I mean, when I saw the team sheet, I saw 6 players that we bought in the January window that was starting the team. So I wasn't necessarily. I don't want to say I wasn't expecting a win, right? But I was just expecting a solid performance, and that's what they gave me. They gave me a solid performance. Obviously, if we're being honest, had luck gone our way, we would have walked out of there with 3 points, right? But that's not how it went. And to be honest, I'm not really tripping. The only thing I really have a problem with is, like Matt is saying, is like the substitutions. They just don't make sense. They just don't make sense. When you're bringing on a substitution, you bring on somebody that can have an impact on the game. So when you bring on someone who throughout the course of the season has had a negative impact on games, it just doesn't really make sense. Like off of a basic standpoint, it just makes no sense. The ZH one is fine. Madueke. Look, I like him. His profile, everything about him, I like him. But he wasn't really that influencing. He wasn't really influencing the game. As the second half went on, it was really the Reece James show, if we're being honest. Yeah, he slipped up for the goal. Yes, it was his responsibility. Yes, he should have been marking the man. Yes, it is his fault. But I mean, throughout the course of the game, he was trying to get us the goal back. So I'm not really gonna, put too much blame on his head either. And to rebuttal one of the points that you made, Matt. The reasons we were losing the past couple of seasons is because we would go down first, not because we would go up first and then concede. We would go down and then never score again. That was our detriment under Tuchel, to be honest. That's why he got sacked. But for the manager standpoint, it doesn't help us sacking the man. There is nobody available. Let's be honest. There's nobody available unless you're talking about like a Luis Enrique, and I don't think he would be interested to come here. Or a Zidane, again, he wouldn't be interested to come here. So other than them, there's nobody available. So it makes no sense to sack a manager and then have who? Like, let's be honest, have who?
I think Luis Enrique. I think you guys could attract Luis Enrique. You're Chelsea Football Club. You've got deep pockets. Zidane's a little harder because I don't think his biggest issue is his partner doesn't want to live in England. But again, with Todd Bowley's money, there's a way. It's probably cheaper to get a helicopter from Paris or somewhere in France to London every day than it is to drive across London. It's probably quicker. So, like, the one point is that where there's a will, there's a way. You can have a guy not even live in England, maybe as his permanent residence, but be your manager. I just think sacking Graham Potter now is a little bit premature, and maybe it's because there's no replacement. But equally, at least give him time to get this team working. I know a lot of players were purchased, but a lot of the players you bought are young and need time to be developed. I also looked at today in those opening few minutes where you look at Havertz being offside on a few occasions. When you've got Christopher Nkunku running through into those positions, I think he stays onside and maybe scores. And once you guys build your confidence and Potter finds his best team, I think you're going to be okay. And that opening 25 minutes should almost be like a prelude to that in a way, if that makes sense. So I'm just watching a free kick here from Leicester. Oh, awful. Well, they might have scored.
But Terry, I'll
give him some time. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, obviously I wouldn't sack him tomorrow because you're right, no one comes in. That was the same contention I had with Tuchel. You sack Tuchel, no one comes in still. But I don't see anything improving with Potter. I think what you said, Terry, you get someone in Cuckoo, great, bring him in. We said the same thing, when you bring in, a Cucurella for Chua, we'll see more from there. We haven't really seen that. So I'm willing to give Potter time. I want Potter to prove me wrong. I want Potter to be our Sir Alex Ferguson. I have nothing against the guy personally, but I just don't see in him. I don't see an authoritarian, disciplined, urgency manager that I see from other previous Premier League winners that we've had this club, even
Yeah.
to show
By the
evidence.
Yeah, I
way,
mean, let's
yeah, go on, mate. Go on, bro.
yeah, let's be frank though. I understand that has been the what we're used to. You get what I mean? Like with the managers, like we most of the winners do end up being the control freaks, right? But let's be honest, it's not really necessary, especially nowadays. Like nowadays, like back then, like there was player power, but it wasn't really that deep. You feel me? Like if someone had a problem with the coach, they were gone the very next day. Like nowadays, the coach can be gone. So it's not really a sustainable. It's not sustainable. Let's be honest. Look at Pep right now. All of his players are leaving. It's not sustainable to be that controlling. So it's just a matter of like maybe being the people manager and a people pleaser like Carlo Ancelotti. You'll be able to get your wins too. You get what I mean?